There are 30,000 people here at the PDAC in Toronto, but I'm happy I managed to find my next guest, Frank Holmes. Frank, so nice to be reunited with you once again.
It's great to be here.
So Frank,
And be with you.
Of course, thank you. And I'm happy I ran into you because I wanted to talk to you about that sell-off we saw last week. Want to get your thoughts on what you think happened.
Well, it's either a grossly negligent trade and the way it was sold, or it allows the conspiracy people to come and say it was manipulated, because there was no real hardcore government policies that would say gold should be falling, and as a price reversal. We are seeing $8 trillion being rolled over by Japan, America, and Europe at negative real interest rates. There's no policy saying that rates will rise above the inflationary rate for such amount of debt. So I don't understand that, and so I would say that it had most likely a really poorly executed trader.
Wow, but it coincided with the Bernanke speech.
It did, and points where I didn't think they were relevant. What he had to say that would drop gold that big was a fat finger or something of that nature. But it does hurt the psychology, and right now everyone is basically apathetic and looking for some reason to be negative.
Yeah.
Well, the real positive parts is that the world continues to grow, and we saw in the past couple of months something like 80 countries, and emerging countries, are loosening up and basically trying to stimulate their economies. That's why we saw a big change in commodity prices in January and February. And most interesting, in America, resource-based mutual funds had negative flows. People just don't believe it. And most Americans are way underweight the S&P's component, energy and basic materials. They're 15% of the index. They're the best performing of the past 5 years and 10 years, but most people are underweight them. So that provides a great opportunity for buying.
Frank, how about the gold-platinum spread? I've been speaking to many investors who have suddenly turned very bullish on platinum. What are your thoughts?
Well, the big platinum demand is coming because of the issues in South Africa is basically 70% of the supplier. And if we see this continuing growth in cars in emerging countries, and they're going to put catalytic converters, then platinum's going to remain strong. So there's been a smarter investors been buying the platinum ETF rather than the platinum stocks because they can't provide the platinum that's necessary for the global growth.
But let me ask you, Frank, if palladium is half the price of platinum, wouldn't you be more bullish on palladium?
Well, it all depends on the cars. Are they diesel or non-diesel? Platinum and palladium have different dominant uses, and one has to recognize that. So if there's a shift in the cars, they're going to use palladium, then yes, palladium will move dramatically. But I think both commodities are extremely attractive on a historical basis because of this growth. What people have to recognize is that the BRIC countries a few years ago surpassed America as the largest consumers of cars. Now China has surpassed America as the largest consumers of cars, and most of the cars in China are paid with cash. They're not borrowed against. So those dynamics are very, very different. And if you looked at the average country in the world that's developed, they consume about 500 cars per thousand. China's 1/10 of that. So there's lots of upside, and that makes commodities such as platinum and palladium very important.
Now, just getting back to gold, Frank, would like to ask you about this. With countries defaulting on their debt, do you think we'll see lenders being able to confiscate that gold? I know there was an item earlier last week on Greece, and that might happen there.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure that what people have to recognize is that civil law, countries that run under civil law, not common law, have a higher propensity of going bankrupt and confiscating gold. So we take a look at not one common law country has gone bankrupt. They have financial problems, but the methodology of law, of resolution, seems to come out that they come out of the Phoenix approach. You see how fast the UK cut fiscal spending. That's not happened in these other countries. So I think that, yes, they could come and do that, but will it happen? It's speculation.
Okay, that's really interesting thoughts. Finally, Frank, what was your main message here to attendees of the world's largest mining convention?
Well, it's important to be a positive skeptic, but to recognize you are in a super cycle in commodities, the need for commodities, and that everyone in all these emerging countries, they want the great American dream trade. They all want to have a beautiful home, a car. They want all these parts, and governments are doing everything to build them out. 30, 40 years ago, they couldn't really truly appreciate or see what we have. This is a big sea change now with the internet. So I think it's a super cycle. Historically, the shortest cycle for copper was 17 years. Well, that means we have at least another 10 years.
Frank, fantastic content. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Kitco News. We'll have more coverage from the PDAC in Toronto.